Good afternoon. Oh, hello, Stasi. Good timing, Stasi.
Okay, we got our third co-host.
Anyway, what a mess of a start to the intro. Hello, Stasi. Hello, everybody. Welcome to, as of, well, for now, the end of the Scary Movie franchise. I am your host, as ever, Purple Midnight 8, joined, as ever, by
Again.
by someone who uses the same joke for every episode she's in, joined by the Obsidian Nook, Petal ASMR, whatever you want to call her, or as everyone else would use in real life, Amelia. Say hi, Amelia.
Hi.
Oh, you didn't want to do the funny like last time where you went, hi, Amelia.
Well, we have our third co-host.
We are joined this week by the Stuzzy, the fluffy pants cat, the old picture that represented you for the reviews before, of course, Silver took over. As mentioned at the start, we are looking at Scary Movie 4 this week. Of course, if you didn't notice, this isn't the typical day we would put a review up on.
Let me get you some.
She's just tucking the cat in. He wants to make some biscuits. He took over the biscuit factory following Silver's passing, so he's got to work hard for money, you know. I forgot what I was on. Mike's blowing up. Anyway, so this is a bonus episode for the week. I was sick of putting off Scary Movie 4 because I was not looking forward to covering it.
So then you said, fuck it, we're going to do it.
I said, fuck it, we're just getting it out of the way and throwing it out as a bonus episode. It's really hot right now, so I apologise. We have the fan off, so we may rush through this a little bit. Scary Movie 4.
Let me know when you get to page 2, the top.
Oh yeah, we need to have a big discussion about some continuity issues. Anyway, Scary Movie 4 is easily my least favourite of the series. It goes right at the bottom of the... Well, not right at the bottom of the letterboxd. That space, as far as I am aware, will forever belong to Creep, which you can also watch our review on channel.
Don't watch the review on that.
Watch it if you want to be sad. That film is depressing and dark. Not in a fun, like, enjoyable way. So anyway...
That's going to be sick. He's doing that like...
He's like...
He's doing like that.
Didn't you have your hand under his chin, though? Because usually that means he wants a chin rub. Anyway, for now, this will be our last Scary Movie review. We've covered the other three. Scary Movie 5 obviously is a thing. However, we care so little that we refuse to pay the full price for it, so we're just going to wait until we find it for piss cheap.
I don't know what... Sorry.
She's just talking about the cat. This is the cat episode.
Lost one baby, but now we've got another one. He's quite needy.
Yeah, he's a very needy baby. But yeah, as I was trying to say, this will be our last Scary Movie for a while until we get Scary Movie 5 for piss cheap. Because we don't care. Basically, we will cover it one day because obviously we want to wrap it up. Stasi is trying to climb over my keyboard. I think he wants the snuddy. Anyway, Stasi has now settled down, bless him, so we can actually get on with it. So Scary Movie 5 we have no interest in because it does not involve anybody from the originals, not even Anna Faris or Regina Hall, who have been in every single one of these. Every single one of these movies. Amelia just won't stop messing around with the cat, so I apologise for the sheer state of the start of this episode.
I'm trying to get him settled.
Yeah, so I'll actually get on with it now, as long as Amelia's finished helping the cat. So, of course, this film, like the one before it, is directed by David Zucker. He actually does make a cameo in this film, we'll talk about it a bit later on. Written by Craig Mazin, known, as mentioned, he is known for Chernobyl as well as The Last of Us. No, they can't hear us though. It's a bit too quiet. So yeah, Craig Mazin is known for The Last of Us and Chernobyl. Excellent series from what I've heard. I've yet to watch them, surprisingly. He wrote this alongside Jim Abrahams, or Abrams, I don't know. I could never understand that last name. And Pat Proft. So, the film begins. It doesn't say in the script, however, I will say it here. with Dr. Phil and Shaquille O'Neal, the actual people, not dodgy lookalikes, as they usually tend to get in looking at you, Michael Jackson, in these films. They awaken chained up in a bathroom, obviously a Saw ripoff, especially when someone who was just credited as alien
I want
villain.
to clarify, we are never.
Saw we might cover.
No, no.
It's disgusting, but
I'm
we
not
might.
watching that with you. You can do that on your own.
Great. I'm not covering over 10 films.
Morgan.
I think it's 10 films now.
I
The new one's called Saw X. So, of course, there's a big knockoff of Saw. We get our character who is credited as alien villain. He is Billy the Puppet, as he is called in Saw. He, funny enough, is voiced by Craig Mazin, one of the writers of this film, as mentioned. He appears on TV as opposed to a tape like it usually is in the. I think he does appear on TV a few times, but it does come on like a tape. He appears on on a TV to tell them to escape or die. They fail to cut through the chains with hacksaws until they realise, of course, it's not meant to go through the chains, it's meant to go through the legs. Dr. Phil goes through with it first until he realises that he's gone through the wrong leg.
Surely you would check this first and not just hack at a leg.
Well, yeah, obviously. Of course, Phil faints from shock or blood loss, which leads them to, as we'll see later on, die off screen. But you'll be surprised. You'll be surprised to know how easy it was with this film to pick best and worst kills. Just because the kills in this aren't great. Compared to the other ones where we had a single person as best and worst kill, these ones are pretty much a group of people for each. Did you get dribbled on?
Spoke and then a bit of like.
Okay.
Ew.
Anyway, so Tom Logan, played by an uncredited Charlie Sheen for whatever reason, of course, last seen in Scary Movie 3. He awakens after having a foursome with a bunch of actual Playboy girls, bunnies, to use the correct term. God, you won't see that anymore. You will not see anything like this anymore in this day and age. He sees a mysterious child in a photo behind him. Cindy, of course, Anna Faris, once again back for her last appearance in the Scary Movie franchise. She arrives just as he goes to slit his wrist for some reason, telling him that Cody, who was in Scary Movie 3, has left for military school. Tom accidentally tries to overdose himself. Well, he does go to overdose himself on painkillers, but accidentally takes a full-on bottle of Viagra, giving him a very obvious inflated. As Cindy rambles on, he launches a cat out the window, but after repeatedly bashing it on a table.
I want to add that no animals were harmed in the making because
This cat does not die. There is no body. It
not
clearly
only
got.
that, you know when they do a really like crappy shot of like a cat and you can see how fake and puppet like it is.
Like in Scary Movie 2, where she ends up fighting the cat, and then
Yeah, you can just see how like ridiculously fake, especially in Ted with that duck and Ted scene.
I can't remember what it was.
But I still don't like it because obviously I love animals and I love cats, so it's still hard to like watch those little bits, even though you can clearly see it's like fake as fuck.
Yeah, it's stupid. So he launches the cat out the window, and then very quickly after himself and falls to his death. His confirmed death, I should say, even though he lands on his penis, which like sinks into the ground from the sheer like solidity. Is that even of it? So we get to meet our main male protagonist, Tom Ryan, played by Craig Bierko, I'm going to say is how you pronounce it. He causes chaos at the dock he works at and quits as his foreman is suddenly flattened under a shipping container. No blood, no gore, he literally just has the usual, like, animated crate fall on top of him.
You mentioned the monkey that was...
The monkey driving the forklift.
Yeah,
for whatever reason.
It was swinging backwards across on the screen, and everyone's running wild, but, like, monkeys that aren't that violent.
Not by
They weren't
nature.
like big monkeys like gorillas. They
Or
were just
chimpanzees. They were quite small ones.
yeah.
Not like macaques or anything like that.
What?
Macaques. You
You
know,
said my cocks.
yeah, very funny. Like, grow up.
Ah,
I can't even fucking spell what the name of it. These tiny little monkeys. I think it may actually have been them, these
mm.
ones, because that is not a macaque. It's called the scientific name macaca. Very inventive, guys. It's not like the snake that's just been named after Harrison Ford, which has got a very Latin name, and then the second part of it is Harrison Fordy. Like, oh fucking hell! Anyway, we'll probably cover a film that he appears in but doesn't act in because he's given up at some point. Thanks for just groaning down the mic. Anyway, he goes to a bar and meets with Mahalik and CJ, of course, returning from Scary Movie 3. Anthony Anderson returning from Scary Movie 3 alongside Kevin Hart, who has also appeared in The Secret Life of Pets on the channel. And in a flashback, we see the two of them sing Lionel Richie's Hello before making love really creepily with oil and like what he puts like lube on his chest and like plays with his tits.
Yeah, and then Kevin Hart gets like this random rat that he's just holding.
It's like a gerbil or something. He just holds. Ugh, it's nasty. It's a big parody, of course, of Brokeback Mountain. In the present, Tom rushes away as Mahalik gets very playful with CJ. Very horny playful, I should say. Tom goes to his house where his ex-wife Marilyn, played by Molly Shannon. I do not know who she is. And I've had the cast up, but because I Googled macaques, uh, not anything that I've heard of. A lot of Will Ferrell movies. Oh, she was in the How the Grinch Stole Christmas with Jim Carrey. Who? Oh, and Hotel Transylvania. Okay, there's a few things, but nothing that I really know. Let me just get my full cast list back up. I can't wait to stop googling fucking scary movie films. So yeah, he goes home where his ex-wife Marilyn, Molly Shannon, and kids Rachel and Robbie. Rachel played by Conchita Campbell, and Robbie played by Bo Murchoff, I don't know, who are waiting for him. I think he's got the kids for the weekend, because I think his ex-wife has custody, I guess. Sorry, it's difficult. It's very hot as well. My brain is not working very well. Cindy arrives at a job interview to house sit a rumored to be haunted house by her new boss, Mr. Hoji, sorry, played by Henry Marr. They go into the house, and Cindy finds a woman named Miss Morris, who is credited, but I did not write it down. She is played by Cloris Leachman. Leachman? I don't know. So they find her on the ground and lift her onto bed. She is catatonic. She's very unresponsive, either for trauma or whatever it is. As Cindy looks around, Hoji goes around covering up suspicious paranormal activity, like hair coming out or a bathtub full of black water that he gets in, that also contains the ghost boy. He stripped down and got in a bathtub with a boy is not a sentence I thought I would read out loud. Unless we were talking about allegations, which we are not. And I don't know anyone who's been accused of that, so I can't even make a joke. Cindy looks out a window and spots Tom, who is her neighbour, in his back garden. Tom does his best to bond with Robbie, but accidentally knocks over Cindy with a baseball. He rushes over to help and makes introductions, and the two speak about their different life experiences, such as we'll discuss later, her ex-husband George, who died off screen. Well, not off screen because he does actually like appear in the film, and how he split up with Marilyn. I've now lost it. Tom quickly becomes smitten over her as she makes crude gestures about what she must do to the woman in the house for care, which involves a lot of scooping and extracting. That night, Cindy is showering when a ghostly figure helps her with cleaning, and when she gets out, a ghost boy, who's played by Garrett Masuda, I don't know anything he's in, I had to Google him, and the only thing that came up was this film, falls down the stairs. It's the same boy as the photo that the other Tom was looking at in the intro, if you want to call it. Well, it's not even a cold open, because the cold open Shaquille O'Neal and Dr. Phil. Very interesting choice of having them. She tries to speak with Miss Norris, who is catatonic about what's going on, and ends up bathing her in her own piss, which is pleasant. Cindy goes to the house's attic, where the boy appears once more and disappears, and the next morning she goes to speak with Tom about it, who he mistakes for being another man. In a flashback, we see George, once again played by Simon Rex, of course, last seen in Scary Movie 3 on the channel, supporting Cindy in a fight against Tiffany Starr, who is not a real person as far as I'm aware. Oh my god, I googled her name and it's a porn star. Okay. Okay. Anyway, that is also not who plays her. That is a very white man who looks like George Lucas. He's played by Tiffany Starr is a woman played by Michael McDonald, who is a man, doing a knockoff of Mike Tyson. Cindy is pummeled by Tiffany, and when Tiffany is distracted, Cindy swings at her. However, she misses and almost falls on a stool that someone suspiciously placed in the ring, until George jumps and falls on it, breaking his neck. This also includes a referee, a steward, and multiple crowd members. That just if they got touched by something, their necks just break. It was really weird. Morgan's just messaged me. Sorry to interrupt. He's sent something over. Is it a meme? Oh, I don't care. He just sent me information about the Skull and Bones. I don't know if that's what it's called. Some pirate game that's coming out has a closed beta in a couple of weeks. I don't care. In the present, Tom and Cindy kiss as the sky turns grey suddenly as a storm arrives. They rush indoors, leaving Rachel outside where she is struck by lightning not once, but twice. Once again, another issue that Scary Movie 3 had is that this film loves to use children and violence as a joke, which is an unfortunate, punchline to have, no pun intended. Tom goes into a town, finding everything electric and non-electric not working. When I say non-electric, I mean a little girl's bike isn't moving, and also a guy's bowels have stopped moving when he runs out of his house. The Earth suddenly opens, revealing a large black box containing a giant iPod, or as they call them, tripods, like in War of the Worlds, which is the parody. Plays Karma Chameleon at first. I think it was a cover. I don't think they got. I don't think they got Culture Club's permission to use it, so I think they just paid someone to cover it. Until changing into a giant War of the Worlds robot, promptly vaporizing several people. That is most of the kills in this film. Unfortunately, there's a lot of people just being disappeared. Not by the government for a change. Ooh, sorry.
Oh,
I'm gonna be disappeared next. Cindy returns to her home. I press page up and communicates with a ghost boy using random Japanese locations and brands. What are you going about?
First page. But you know how they've made abortions basically illegal?
Oh no, that isn't the first page. We haven't caught up with the president yet. Yeah, that was very topical. They talk about abortions, which is still a hot subject to this day. So anyway, he vanishes, leaving a map behind, pointing towards a place she needs to go. Obviously, it's a map. What do you expect? Tom runs home to tell his kids to prepare to evacuate, grabbing a gun and shooting himself in the arse and the penis. For no reason, really.
Which is very fake.
Yeah. Tom reunites with Cindy and they say they must leave before they promise to find each other and leave. Tom steals a car that, as mentioned earlier, doesn't work, but does work now. He steals it from Marvin, who is played by DeRay Davis. He is in a lot of interesting films, mainly Weed and Basketball, and a male strip movie called Chocolate City. Okay, moving on. Sorry, yeah, I got lost. So yeah, he steals it from Marvin, played by DeRay Davis, who invites to join him and his kids. But after failing to get in, Marvin is vaporized alongside one of his colleagues. They have a big argument about him unlocking the door and trying to open it at the same time. We then get to catch up with President Baxter. He is played by Leslie Nielsen, of course. Last seen in Scary Movie 3. Who receives news of the alien attack at a school, where he tells the kids that everyone is dead and Santa isn't real, alongside the Tooth Fairy. Cindy passes a wrecked plane, still being disembarked, like it hadn't just crashed and exploded. Where Brenda last seen in every scary movie so far,
But in the last one,
played by Regina Hall, makes her grand reappearance.
but in the last one, she'd actually died and her body did actually explode. So how does she come back?
She also died in Scary Movie 1. She dies in the cinema, remember?
Oh my god, how does she keep coming back?
Yeah, as the Scary Movie described, it's either Brenda or yet another friend who's also named Brenda and looks identical to Brenda. So it's just like I think Cindy literally goes, "I thought you were dead," and it just sort of gets brushed over. But yeah, Brenda and Cindy are like the best part of these films, and that's good. It's good that they came back for all of them, really. It's a shame about the Wayans, though. These films could have actually been funny. Well, for more than a couple of minutes. Lil Jon, in a random cameo, drives past and Brenda knocks him out and steals his car. And they pass some injured civilians as CJ and Mahalik emerge, not knowing what happened. They assault the injured zombies, the injured civilians who they believe are zombies, sorry. Which includes Mahalik's grandmother, who they throw back down the manhole. It's what they do a lot in these films. It's very obviously a puppet or like a mannequin that they've just dressed up. It's just a lot of silly fucking like attempts at jokes. So Tom drives through a crowd before shooting a man out of the sky who was hang gliding. Sure, he was. He was just hang gliding in the middle of an alien invasion. Which he does die, but not yet. He then shoots him with a crossbow later on. I've lost it. He then gets pulled out of a car. No, he got pulled out of a car and used the gun to sort of calm everyone down, shooting him out of the sky. Tom and his family are left without a car, leaving them to walk. Cindy and Brenda drive up the road to the location on Cindy's map, where the two talk about Tom until a vision of a ghost boy scares them. Which also gets them to stop their car conveniently at their location. There they find an old-timey town hidden behind some bushes. This is the M. Night Shyamalan film. I think it's literally called The Village. Something like that. Yeah, literally called The Village. Known for having a disappointing ending, which usually is what happens with his films. M. Night Shyamalan has not been on the channel before. However, in Scary Movie 3, his movie Signs was parodied, as well as himself being parodied. He's the one who was responsible for killing Tom Logan's wife. He shows up in the truck and he's like... Anyway, it doesn't matter. Long story short, his movies are either okay or really fucking bad. He directed that movie Old you wanted to watch that's on Netflix in a minute.
Shit.
Yeah, because his films are either bad or mediocre. Anyway, if you like his films, fair enough, but I just don't like it. They go in where they spot a blind woman. Her name is Holly. She is played...
That is the fake...
It's clearly she's just not blinking. She, of course, is played by Carmen Electra. She is the sex appeal of the film. She has been on the channel. She was in Scary Movie 1.
We wanted to.
We're gonna do Meet the Spartans. She's in all these shitty parody films like this disaster movie, date movie,
Shark Attack.
epic movie. Like, there's a lot of crap. She's just woman with big bahungas. So, as I say, she's just the sex appeal of this film. She's like the Pamela Anderson for these, who has also been in these films. And a man who's named Ezekiel. He, of course, played by Chris Elliott, last seen in Scary Movie 2 as the one and only Hanson. Take my strong hand, child. Don't know why he was in this film. His character is a very offensive stereotype of someone who's mentally handicapped. He likes to say vagina a lot and put bowls of mashed potato on his head. They see the Ghost Boy's father, who is Henry. He is played by Bill Pullman. I know him from somewhere, but I cannot remember. He's in Independence Day. Spaceballs, that's it. Of course he is. The Equalizer and the Equalizer 2. Yeah, Spaceballs is where I know him from. I fucking want to cover that. We'll cover that one day. It's such a stupid fucking knockoff of Star Wars. Anyway, before they are grabbed by two hooded villagers, Holly interrupts Henry and tells him about Cindy and Brenda, and he goes to confront them and denies knowledge of his son. They are put before the town's council, where Brenda makes her move on a local named Jeremiah, played by John Reardon. I know his face as well, but I cannot remember where from. Get used to it. That's basically what happens in every film. I may be mistaking him for someone else. Is it Tron Legacy? Lots of other cheap movies. Maybe he was in Van Helsing. God, that might be it. That might be where I fucking know him from. Yes, that'll be it. I know him from. Sorry, ignore me. I'll get fucking sidetracked. I weirdly quite like that TV show, despite it going a bit shit. So Holly randomly appears and takes a large, unholy shit in the middle of the meeting, believing she's at her own house. She literally wanders in, does this enormous wet shit, and then just leaves. It's literally just the most forced fucking joke. Also, strips most of her clothes off down to lingerie because she's the sex appeal of the film. It's just, oh, I don't get it. But hey ho, do whatever you want. I mean, I hope she got paid enough. So yeah, she did that because she believed she was at home. Henry tells Brenda and Sydney they are welcome to stay, but they are unable to leave. I forgot to mention, but as you said during the before Holly makes her entrance, why the fuck do people wear their glasses right at the end of their nose?
Bothers me.
As someone who wears glasses, why don't you tell us what it's like actually doing that for real?
Because if you put your glasses at the bottom of the nose, at your nose, and you sit them like this, obviously you guys can't see.
Those with glasses, do it yourself. And
I'm looking at the telly, and I'm just seeing with my natural eyesight.
Which isn't great. Because why else would you wear glasses?
Have the bottom of the nose, and they're looking either up or straight
They usually
ahead.
look over the glass. It's
and
really
it's just
stupid.
like, what's the point? Like, wear your glasses properly.
Yeah, how can you like think you can see shit when you've got like just fucking put them on properly?
Like, for all those who wear glasses, we damn well to wear your glasses properly, which is right at the top of your nose, in order to fucking see.
Yeah, just fucking do it properly. You look like a bell end. At the UN, or as Baxter calls it, UN, the world leaders meet to hear from him, who proceed who I would just want to say he makes some heavily racist jokes. He moves on, bringing in an alien weapon that they plan to use to kill the aliens.
He talks so much.
He shit talks a lot.
He's like, oh, pass, and I'm so sorry to you guys over wherever it's now been made illegal. But he made a joke where he's like, oh, pass the abortion bill.
Yeah, he's like, remind me to
And
sign the abortion
now
bill.
back at it, I'm like, was that a hint that that was coming because this happened?
This isn't The Simpsons. So he moves on, bringing in the weapon, and they plan to use to kill the aliens. However, he accidentally uses it to remove his own clothes in front of the onlookers. He makes a lot of um, suggestive remarks while he's playing around with the machine while his bare ass is hanging out. And thankfully, well, you don't see any explicit stuff, but from behind where it's his ass, it's clearly a body double. I don't think Leslie Nielsen was too happy with showing his bare ass on screen. He messes with it and accidentally uses it to remove everyone else's clothes. Tom and his group of survivors are randomly attacked by some aliens in a field. Lots of more people get absolutely disintegrated. Rachel is almost abducted, of course, by Michael Jackson, who these films are just obsessed with insulting. He is played by Edward Moss in this. They didn't get actual MJ. I don't even know if he was still alive. I'm fairly sure we did this last time he was on the channel. Like last time he was in the film. Was he in Scary Movie 3? He died 3 years after this. Okay, good to know. At least I had the decency to do it while he was still alive. So yeah, Michael Jackson is disintegrated as well after it changes him through all his different looks throughout the years. Tom and Rachel are rescued by a hooded man who ushers them to safety. Cindy walks in on Brenda and Jeremiah, apparently giving each other a hand job. Well, not giving each other a hand job. Brenda giving him one, however, they're just churning butter. It's typical, like, it's not what you think it is. Before some monsters appear in town, sending everyone scattering. The monsters enter the house and blow the cover as not being real, much like The Village. In reality, it's just used to scare the people from leaving the town and going into the real world. It's a really stupid ending. They hear a scream and run over to find that Henry has been stabbed, allegedly by Ezekiel. He asks to be alone with Cindy and Brenda. It tells them of how they went to a boxing match. Sounds familiar? Where the boy was one of the many casualties, being flattened by someone pretending to be Don King. He is a boxing promoter. He's 91. Well done, mate. I don't know how long he's been doing it for, but bloody hell. Ezekiel suddenly appears and stabs Henry again, which puts him down for good, alongside his other mentally handicapped brother named, who didn't have a name, but who's the sheriff. Tom and Rachel hide with the man in the building's basement, and Tom sings a random song to her to get her to go to sleep. The man who we now find out is named Oliver, who of course is played by Michael Madsen in a very 5-minute bit part. Of course, Reservoir Dogs, Kill Bill Volume 2, or if you played Call of Duty Black Ops 2, alongside another person who graduated the channel, in Cocaine Bear, who is... Oh, I feel bad because I forgot his name. I'm terrible. I forget everyone's name. Just fucking open the internet. Oh, I forgot his name. Ray Liotta. He was in Mob of the Dead alongside Ray Liotta, who was in Cocaine Bear, as mentioned on the channel. So that's a nice little tie-in, even though they weren't in a film together. No, they were in Reservoir Dogs together, but not in this, obviously. Right, sorry. Anyway, back on track. So Oliver tells Tom about his past and about how he usually just kept killing people instead of helping people as an ambulance driver. And he tries to explain that the aliens must have a weakness. An alien suddenly lowers a tentacle into the basement to search for the three until it finds a vacuum, which it promptly fucks. They use a mirror to distract it, with Tom and Oliver silently arguing as grabbed and taken, with Tom following shortly after. Cindy and Brenda are also suddenly grabbed as well, being placed in a cage alongside several others. Cindy reunites with Tom, and the two of them plus Rachel are pulled up into the Alien, where they awake in the bathroom from the beginning, where they find Shaq's skeleton, confirming that he and Dr. Phil are dead. Billy the puppet appears once more to tell them what is going on. Cindy misunderstands that she must retrieve a key from behind her eye. She retrieves it, revealing the eye to be a fake one, and frees them all. Which, let's be honest, the aliens probably would have noticed. They wouldn't have just come, there you go, done. Rachel and Robbie are lowered from the ceiling, and Thomas keep them from falling into some blades by pulling on the chain, while also being repeatedly kicked in the nuts by a machine. Cindy remembers what the boy told her, finding proof that Billy the puppet is the boy's real father, while Brenda finds a secret exit where she assaults him and another puppet named Zoltar. It's weird that one's just called Alien Villain and the other one... Rachel, Robbie, and Cindy tell Tom that it's okay to let go of them, causing Billy to turn off the trap and go in to speak to them. As a result, Billy apologizes and calls off the invasion, and Brenda gives the other puppet, Zoltar, who is played by David Zucker, the movie's director, an STD, supposedly. The group returns to Earth, with Brenda giving birth to Zoltar's child. CJ and Mahalik continue their relationship, and an interesting appearance from James Earl Jones, who I forgot to mention to you is also the voice of Mufasa, I think, from The Lion King, as well as the voice of Darth Vader, I think. I feel, yes, it is. It's in quite a lot. He's just known for his voice. So yeah, he gives a voiceover before he is randomly crushed by a bus for whatever reason. Tom appears on Oprah, who is played by Deborah Wilson in this bit, where he tells Oprah about his relationship before they fight one another, and he has a random insane outburst before the movie ends. And there we are. The end of the Scary Movie series until God knows when we finally find Scary Movie 5. So, what were your thoughts?
As I said, I didn't hate it, but now that I look back on it, I can see why they wouldn't make anything like this again. With how, yeah, with all of that. But as I said,
Well, then again, they made another one 7 years later. They can't make any more.
Worst up there going. I mean, we did laugh.
It's not terrible. It had its moments, but it's definitely the worst out of the 4. So, we can't judge 5 because we haven't seen 5.
I've seen, and
is it bad?
The fucking...
Is 5 worse than 4?
No, the vacuum's getting like, because I think they take the piss out of Paranormal Activity.
Oh yeah.
And there's like a scene where the vacuums have like a pool party and they're doing like coke and everything, and like fucking each other. It's really weird.
It sounds like a nightmare.
It's like Hetty Hoovers and that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that one's not too bad either. I may just pay.
Is it better or worse than this?
Well, it's definitely not going to be as great as
1 and 2.
Yeah, because you got to admit
what 2 is the best. 1 has a lot of unhealthy stereotypes and like some quite horrible bits.
Because you got to admit the first and the second are like classics.
Well, yeah. 1 hasn't aged so well, but 2 definitely stinks.
Chicks and Python.
Monty Python is classic British.
Park.
Yeah, Park. Well done. There's a lot of iconic films that we've done. You can catch them on the channel. Yeah, the whole time we were watching it, she was like, "World." It's like, no, Park. So yeah, we'll get on to best kill, worst kill. As we mentioned at the top, it's an easy agreement. It was very meh. It was quite difficult to pick for best kill, worst kill, because the kills were so mediocre. Best kill just goes to everyone who died at the boxing ring. So that includes George, that includes the ghost boy, it includes the referee, blah blah blah. And also the fact that the Tiffany was biting everyone's ears off and spitting them out into a big pile, like Mike Tyson allegedly did. I don't know if he actually did. So yeah, that whole scene is basically best kill. Worst kill we've agreed on is literally everyone else who dies in the film. Mainly because it's either vaporized, Shaquille O'Neal and Dr. Phil die off screen. There's no gore, there's no creativity in the deaths. The most creative one was everyone randomly dying if they got touched by something in the box. And so yeah, that was Scary Movie 4, the weakest of the franchise so far. I'd say it's a very well, as of 3 and 4, it was a very quick decline in quality, but at least 3 had a bit more to it than this. Other than that, it was as we said, it has its moments, but other than that, it was pretty shit. So thank you for listening. As mentioned, we will be saving Scary Movie 5 until we find it for next to no money, because we don't want to watch it unless we get so bored that we're just going to rent it. We're not paying full price. I, of course, once more have been your host, Purple Midnight 8, joined as ever by Amelia, or the Obsidian Nook, Petal SMR. You can find her link and all of my fucking random links in the description, including where we place this on the list. As you can guess, it's not very good. So yeah, in a few days, because in reality this is a bonus episode, so it's not counting towards the usual schedule. It's Amelia's go, followed by mine. My turn is usually the start of the week. Amelia's is at the end of the week. We're thinking Scooby-Doo 3.
You said scary.
Yeah, no shit. I did correct myself, dumbass. Yeah, you said scary. You said Jurassic World the entire time we were watching Park, so shut your mouth. Anyway, it should be Scooby-Doo 3, unless she changes her mind in the next couple of days. I think she wants to do... Is there a sequel to the third one?
2 live actions that don't have original cast.
Then yeah, it's got a sequel. I don't know what I'll pick next, but I'm glad Scary Movie 4's over, because I can finally put that out of my mind and put it out of my misery. So yeah, Amelia's turn on Saturday, and then my turn Tuesday. The fan is going back on because we've nearly finished recording, so I apologise if it's just like wind at the minute. So I'll wrap up. Thank you again for listening. I've done all the thing about the host. Don't know what else to say. We'll see you in the next one. Love you. Bye.